Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, Jamahal Hill gives his take on whether or not Magomed Ankalaev deserves a title shot. Hill then goes on to give his opinion on Pereira's recent desire to fight him.
Magomed sent a tweet out talking about my belt, but you didn't win. You gotta win, bro. You know, so that's funny. But yeah, I'm game for everybody. But right now, how I see it, and from based off of what I know, you know what I mean, he probably gonna have to get another dub before he get a title shot. So it's what it is. Like I said, I'm here for everybody.
Yeah, the Schmo was going to ask you who's the most deserving, because you got Magomed, you got Yuri Prohaska, who you ran into earlier today inside the PI, and then you got Potan, Alex Pereira, talking about you, but he's in the middleweight division.
Yeah, that's another weird one. Like my man's like me being a backup fighter for a weight class 20 pounds under me, which depends on how much they paying, you know. But yeah, nah. I think he should probably focus on Izzy because he was getting his ass whooped for a good majority of that fight last time before he won.
Michael Chandler believes his fight against McGregor could sell 2 million pay-per-views.
The build-up and lead-up to this thing could be the biggest pay-per-view that we've ever seen. Obviously, I am a wishful thinker. I have confident expectancy for myself to show up and build this thing. Conor knows how to build things, so we're about to have a blast.
You think 2 million is a possibility? I feel like it is. What do you think?
I think 5 million is a possibility.
Dang, really?
No. I mean, traditionally, traditionally, you look at the numbers. I think 2 million is not just a possibility. I think it's very, very achievable and very attainable. I think what I have, me, it's hard for me to be, toot my own horn, but what I've created is this level of intrigue and mystique that when I show up on fight night and that cage door closes, all hell breaks loose and my foot is on the gas. I haven't seen a brake pedal at all since I signed with the organization, honestly, since I started fighting. And it's just continued to build and build and build. So you look at why this fight got made, Conor knows it's going to do big numbers. You look at why this matchup, the UFC knows it's going to be a massive fight. And can we tip our hat to Conor McGregor? I am not the easiest fight for him to come back against after 2 years of layoff.
Islam Makhachev believes his wrestling is superior to many fighters because he grew up in Dagestan, where instead of playing soccer as kids, they wrestled. Here's what Islam had to say in a recent interview. When I was young, we would wrestle everywhere, in the street, in the school, in the village, you know? I'm a good wrestler because I'm from Dagestan. And you know, Dagestan is the best republic in the world. We are a small republic, but we have many Olympic champions. In some countries, kids play soccer when they are young, but our republic, when we were kids, we started to do wrestling. You have to wrestle all your life. That's why all fighters from Dagestan have good wrestling. You cannot prepare for some fighter who has good wrestling in a couple of months. This is not kickboxing or some striking. You can improve your striking in a couple of months, but wrestling, in my opinion, you have to wrestle all your life. You can ask anyone. Some drivers in Dagestan, Uber drivers, everybody was a wrestler before. Chris Weidman reveals he wants to return to the UFC this summer. The former middleweight champion believes he can fight as a top competitor and possibly even reclaim the belt.
I would say somewhere like someone in the top 15, like anywhere from 10 to 15. I was like 12 or something when I left, so somewhere in there. I'm not coming back to be like a B-rated fighter or, a gatekeeper or anything like that. I went through all this hell, not just to, come back and be like that. I'm coming back to try to, get back what is mine, try to get that belt. And after analyzing all these guys and watching the middleweight division, these last 2 years, with everybody at the top of the division, I don't think there's any reason why I can't beat those guys. So I'm excited to work my way up and get there soon.
On a recent edition of the DC and RC show, Daniel Cormier gives his take on how important the fight between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski is, and what's at stake for the fighters.
Ryan, the winner gets the ultimate bragging chip. He'll be the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And if Alexander Volkanovski wins this fight, he keeps his position, but he beats the guy that people think, it's like, hey, that Ivan Drago analogy you made earlier. Islam is that, right? The unbeatable, the guy that's supposed to be only human. Volkanovski gets to show he's only human. He's just a man like the rest of us. Volkanovski gets the ultimate bragging rights if he beats Makhachev because he's already the pound-for-pound number one. But for Makhachev, he goes on the top of those rankings. He sits in a place where he has sat and watched many of his teammates go to before myself, Khabib, all become number one pound for pound over the course of our careers. So that stuff means something to those guys. It is a massive fight in terms of the stakes, a massive fight in terms of the standing in the world, and a massive stakes fight for two of the most important weight classes we have had for a long time in the UFC.
Khamzat Chimaev has revealed he wants a fight with Robert Whittaker. Not so long ago, Khamzat said he was fond of Whittaker and had no desire to fight him. I want to train with that guy, he's really good, like one of the best guys in the world. I was watching his fight, I'm a big fan. I watch how he trains and all these things. A lot of guys want to fight me, and Robert never said something bad about me. There's a lot of guys talking about me, I'm gonna go take their heads off, so we'll see. However, in a recent interview, Khamzat has expressed his desire to fight Whittaker. I think I will fight Robert Whittaker. I want this fight. I like him as a human being, he's a solid guy, doesn't trash talk, doesn't cross any lines. We're going to have fun at the press conference and fight each other. Javier Mendez reveals why he believes Islam Makhachev is one of the most well-rounded lightweights in UFC history. Here's the clip.
How did game planning go, right? Like, if he's in Dagestan training for the majority of the camp, how hard was it to game plan and sort of like tell him, hey, this is the plan that we're doing, even though you're only going to see him in these last few weeks?
Well, good thing you asked, Les, but let me give you the simple answer on that one, which you'll get. For one of his fights in Las Vegas, this last one recently, when he fought the Brazilian kid, forgot his name. But anyways, we had the game plan of standing. We were going to stand with him.
Charles Oliveira.
Yeah. No, not Charles.
That was Abu Dhabi. Thiago Moises?
The one in, yes.
Yeah.
Moises, yeah. We were just going to stand with him. There was no ground. We were just going to stand with him. Okay. Walking out, since he was the first one out, I looked at him. I said, hey, Khabib, he looks a little smaller than I thought. I go, let's change plan. Let's go to the ground. Let's just take him to the ground. And he looks at me, goes, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think that's the better plan. So we tell Islam as we're walking out, Islam, change the plan. Take him to the ground. So what am I saying?
The whole game plan went out the window.
Because Islam is that well trained. We can change it on a dime. We can do whatever. He's that good. I don't say this guy's the most well-rounded lightweight in the history of MMA out of the champions for no reason. I'm saying it because this guy's that good everywhere.
Alexander Volkanovski tells Islam Makhachev that regardless of what he says, he can tell that Islam has a smart camp, because he can see the black eyes that Islam is wearing during the interview, showing that his team knows what Volkanovski is capable of.
As he said, he knows he's training out. Obviously, he knows this top fight for him. You know what I mean? They're not silly. They're a smart team. They know what I'm capable of. They're going to prepare accordingly as well. I can see that he's obviously been training out. He's got a couple of black guys right now, so I'm sure he's doing some rounds in and probably get passed up at the pro. So he's hard. That's good. That's good. That's what I want to say. But Volk, if he's getting touched up, in the training room and he's telling you that he's going to stand with you, I mean, that's got to feel pretty good to know, especially after the performance you had against Max Holloway. I mean, you look as good as you have ever looked in your entire career and sharp. You never get tired. You're as good on the feet as they come. Like, looking at Islam with the black eye and everything, and him telling you, hey, I want to stand with you. Does that make you smile? Let's keep talking about
Holloway, very good boxer, he have good boxing, but I'm different. I'm very good MMA fighter.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.